solid in those last 2 games, or last 3 games, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
And yeah, personally, I want to see Milica being drafted onto something a bit more aggressive. They've either put him on tank duty, wave clear duty, and let's see whether you put Milica in more of a carry role.
We'll find out. We're into picks and bans here. The Anivia is banned as expected. The Xayah as well. Origen on the blue side this game. They were the ones who started the thing up, and it goes back over to them with the Trundle very quickly on the bans here today.
Origen definitely gunning for this Olaf. Whenever you see the Trundle ban come this early, the Olaf is sure to follow.
Do you think it's going to be an Olaf ban on the Kliktech side?
I mean, if you ban Olaf, then you're leaving open Skarner, and I feel like Origen are fine picking up one of those 2 Predator junglers, so I don't really think you can ban out Insec at this point. He's going to get his hands on something. For me, it's just how you play around it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I definitely think that's likely what's coming in. With the Anivia banned away as well, they could move towards the Ryze first pick if Froggen wants to prioritize it.
You mean they're not going to first pick Tristana?
Actually, yeah, that's true. Never mind.
Is the Ryze worth more than that? Yeah,
Sorry.
I feel like
Froggen's
Froggen's fine to just take it, but yeah, Origen have kind of a reputation here, and it's get forgiven his favorite carry. First, even when the Kai'Sa's up, and you can see with the Cassiopeia ban, Kliktech are not worried about the Kai'Sa.
I think that's quite interesting from Kliktech not banning Ryze specifically. Oh, here we go. It's a bit of a curveball
Okay,
here.
haha.
Hey, nice.
Celtic Tiger, you took it back though. I'm not going to give you points for that.
No, but the thing is that
half points?
as far
Yeah, half points.
I'll give you points for it, because
Take
as far as the meta is concerned, this is how it kind of should go in that sense. And I wonder whether Kliktech were reading the drafts from Origen saying they prioritize Tristana over Ryze. If we leave it open, we can get our own hands on it because they're not going to take it. But maybe if that's what they were thinking, that's not how it's going to go for them in this draft.
The big thing for me here is that we've seen them, you know, go for this Tristana constantly. I think it's dropped in priority since Forgiven's last performance, to be honest.
I feel like, why don't you just take it here, honestly? Why didn't Kliktech have locked in Varus, but I wonder...
They've locked
no,
in
they locked in
Malzahar
Malzahar.
too, and Varus.
Malzahar is
so
actually
that is an
locked in as
interesting
well,
choice
yes.
here. Tell me about this, gentleman.
Okay, well, I mean, it's still it technically is a flex here because we saw some Malzahar support, though we don't really see that nowadays much at all. But then again, you don't see Malzahar nowadays much at all. It's decent-ish into Ryze because he's kind of low mobility. He has to get quite close to you, and you can lock him down. But it depends what they combo with the jungle, because you have to have that good mid-jungle synergy to really capitalize on that Malzahar pick.
It does seem like it is one of those choices that maybe Kliktech have been kind of hiding for a little bit. We actually haven't seen a Malzahar in this tournament so far. And on the Origen side, you mentioned the Skarner being a viable pickup. It does get locked in. The Olaf is going to match it on the other side. And of course for Origen, I feel like the Sivir is kind of going to be in their wheelhouse, because Forgiven, he does sure know how to get to that 500 CS faster than anybody else. Interesting
that they've just not gone for Tristana at all. It's just been, it's not going to go in, we're not going to see it this game. It's not picked, it's not banned, just slipping through.
We actually saw Forgiven fall pretty far behind in CS in his last game to Venzer, but Venzer had an absolutely crazy game. He also got those ganks down early, so potentially if Forgiven is looking forward to the fact he might get just a free farm lane with this Sivir now. We'll see what kind of supports they go for as well, which will really dictate the pace of the lane.
Yeah, you see the GP being banned as well as the Morgana. The GP versus Expect too, you could be forgiven for thinking maybe, pardon the pun, that maybe he's just going to be playing only those tanks, but he did make a name for himself back in the day on G2 Esports, playing the Gangplank quite a bit.
I'm not really a huge fan, honestly, of the Braum ban here. I would have liked to have seen a Tahm Kench ban, because Tahm Kench is a soft counter to any kind of suppression champion, Malzahar and Skarner. And if you've got this Malzahar and you can just, and you slap your ultimate down, Tahm Kench gobbles them up, and suddenly it's not as huge of a deal. And I feel like if you're running a team comp like this with the Sivir, you just pop your ultimate, you've got the Ryze running at people, you've got the Skarner running at people, and then you just that's the way you move forward. How do you protect? I feel like Tahm Kench is a good answer to that.
And Eden Prietel as well has always favored these more aggressive supports, which is why we don't see them pick it away. I think going back to something a little more comfortable to him on the Alistar.
Yep, being able to set up and make those plays. So now we have Milica once again changing things up in the champion pool and taking that Malzahar on the other side for Origen. We've seen Expect play pretty much mostly tanks, so this Scion kind of comes through once more, and it looks like if they lock this Tahm Kench, a lot of protection there for both carries.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Tahm Kench sits quite nicely into this team comp. I still just have questions about why they don't want Milica to play these carries. I mean, we see footage of him playing just from like Season 3, Season 4. I know it's a long time ago, but he's picking things like Zed. He's whipping out all these just nutty characters who just go really aggressive, and it just seems such a difference.
Speaking of aggressive,
yeah, speaking of aggressive,
I think Sakurai might want to be all-inning this game.
This is going to be probably the Conqueror
Really?
Renekton.
Yes. I know I'm not an analyst, but still, guys, can you tell me if my intuition is correct?
Absolutely is. Conqueror Renekton, as you touched on as well, we've seen it picked into Scion before. Actually, back in play-ins, we saw this matchup when Faxi went up against the Scion. He took the Renekton. He then got it banned away from him for the rest of play-ins because it just destroys Scion. Conqueror means that you just shred through even the tankier members, especially like this Scion.
And what I like specifically going up against Origen is that I feel like if you are going to exploit a lane from Origen, it's going to be that top lane, and especially when you've got Insec, who's kind of had the iffy communication, might not be there to protect his top laner when he needs to be. And so if you're going to put pressure onto a lane, you're not going to do it to Froggen because he's Froggen, and you're not going to be able to do it to Forgiven because he's playing Sivir with a Tahm Kench. So slide into that top lane, play around the Renekton.
You also have the slightly stronger early game jungler as well, so even if you end up in the 2v2, you should win it.
Alrighty, I'm going to pose it to you then, Celtic Tiger. Do you believe in the Kliktech clap?
I have to now. I mean, I've bet on them twice. They've disappointed me against XL, but please turn it around, guys. I can only bet you so many times and lose.
All right, have to do it for Celtic Tiger. And now, Foxtrap, what do you think?
As much as I love my Balkan bros, Quickshot did point out that I actually sided with Celtic Tiger last time, and we absolutely cannot have that lack of spice, so I'm going for Origen.
All right, we've got a spicy one. Let's send it over to our casters. Quickshot Scoundrel, take it away.
It's not spicy when you don't do it for the right reasons. Anyways, as we jump into the game, Origen are looking for a revenge against Kliktech and Scoundrel. One hell of a message is being sent. Kliktech are saying we will fight you early, and we will beat you mid, because that's what that comp wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a Renekton, he's a lane-dominant bully. You've got a Malzahar who's going to try and shove the Ryze in post-level 6. You've got great abilities to engage on him. But all of this links back to Stefan, in my opinion.
And why is that? What is it Stefan has to do? He's playing the Olaf, of course, denying that from Insec, who had a phenomenal Olaf early game just a few moments ago. What does Stefan have to do today for Kliktech?
Stefan definitely needs to be in his top, especially pre-6. He needs to be in his mid, post-6. He needs to snowball these lanes. You get to the late game, or even mid to late game, and you team fight this team from OG, you're going to lose.
It's going to be terrifying, but of course, the ability to come online, the ability to perform earlier from a champion perspective is in favor of Kliktech. Their champions are going to do very well on one item, maybe very well on 2 items. If it gets to 3 items, I start to get nervous and I start to get scared for this up-and-coming squad, who, by the way, I am starting to wonder about their ability. Kliktech are on potential a 3-game losing streak.
Are you saying that they might have been exposed?
I would like to open the possibility. Okay, I want to open the possibility. Kliktech made a huge name for themselves by taking down Origen in very convincing fashion. Melitza in particular had a great Scion performance. But since then, I think they're regressing, and I'm not quite sure why.
I think it's difficult to put your finger on it right now. For me, personally, I think it's because some of the standout performers, which have specifically been Melitza and Sakura, they have, for me, been taken off things which they can perform on. A lot of that has been put down towards the bot lane. And actually, some of the bot lanes that they've matched up against in a sort of 2v2 basis, Venza and Jewel, they actually matched very well into Nikolai and Eden, and I think that's actually one of the weaker sides of the KLT map. Whereas I look towards mid and top, and I'm thinking Melitza and Sakura, they're bloody gods. You know, if you give them the right platform to play from. And this is, I think this game here specifically, you've given them a good platform to play from. It's up to Stefan to enable them.
All right, so Stefan, all eyes on you. What can you do for your solo laners? Can you get them ahead? Now, there is one thing, of course. If KLT are going to be playing to this top side, which you would expect with a Renekton, that's actually the one side where Insec and Expect can communicate. You know, both obviously Korean, both obviously available to play around one another. We saw Insec, I don't want to say camping for Expect, but he spent a lot of time in the top lane. He was all over the place, and he ganked numerous times earlier today. And we'll have to see how that works out.
This is not where you want to be as Sakura versus Expect right now. Yes, you got level 2, but you're already taking a huge amount of damage from Expect in this early laning phase.
I thought Renekton beat Scion. I didn't quite see exactly how it was panning out.
He tanked a crap ton of minions.
Well, there you go. don't fight into the minion wave. No matter how many times you've got Kuldamik, got to be a little bit careful. All right, this mid lane matchup, of course, I quite like the Malzahar into Ryze. There are options, in actual fact, for both sides of the matchup, but that Nethergrass could become so powerful later in the game, not only because of the power of the ability, but it also may force Froggen or other carries to pick up that QSS, and that is just this sort of invisible advantage that you give to your team.
Well, it's the same also with Insec. He's also going to force QSSs coming out from KLT, but you can see right there why it's a problem for Froggen. You're a shorter range mage into a mage that's going to shove you in. Malzahar will shove you in naturally. And also he will silence you as you walk up towards him. A Ryze that is silenced, who relies on chaining his abilities together, is going to be caught dead in the water. You imagine a Froggen post 6 walks up and tries to do that. He's going to be a sitting duck for Malefic Visions, or so rather the ultimate, the Nether Grasp. So he's going to be, yeah, struggling.
Just locked in place. And also the fact that those head crabs actually body block for your overloads as well.
Yeah.
It's just little advantages
head crabs,
that
like
can work out depending on your preference, of course. But look at this. Expect 23 to 15, very big minion wave. There's the slice and the dice. And Sakura being pushed in very, very heavily. I'm looking at the minion mini-map. And Stefan was making his way up, but I don't think that Expect is going to get caught out. He has backed away literally in the nick of time.
The perfect moment as well. I think he realized that he was in a dangerous position with that massive minion wave having shoved in towards Sakura. Stefan is on the top side of the map though, and we'll see the teleport coming through. So we would not be surprised to see him take this Grom and return towards the top lane if Sakura can hold it in that position right now.
Okay, so let's take a look. Stefan is going to be heading towards the Scuttle Crab for now. And as we got moments away, of course, Origen, they will have something to prove. Their debut game at the EU Masters was against Kliktech, and they got smashed. I'm not going to mince words here, and of course, it exploded. It's part of the reason why everybody's so excited to see this game. It's part of the reason it is the final game of the tiebreaker day, and it's also something Origen are not going to get surprised by. A little bit earlier today, Milica was under a lot of pressure, down to 100 HP, flash available for Froggen. He's not going to go under the tower. Doesn't want to run the risk because Milica also had flash and heal. Now Insec is being zoned away by a reckless swing and an undertow. Continuing to chase, just waiting. I'm waiting for this to explode, Scoundrel. I will let you in a moment or two.
No, it's still going. It's still going right now. Quick shot. It was on the very verge of boiling over right there, but oh my word. Milica with some very questionable positioning around that top side brush there. It did end up not burning his flash. I think he realized that he had the minion waves to block the overloads for him. He also knew that if he flashed, Froggen would flash as well, maybe get a flash in that situation. Yeah. And he had the heal, knowing that a base attack wasn't going to finish him off. However, still questionable positioning.
Yes, it just makes you nervous, right?
Yeah.
When the Malzahar was picked into the Ryze, it's a matchup they opted into. Renekton was picked into Scion, and Sakura is not yet winning. He is still down in CS as he's hit level 6. Now he's got that dominance available, so maybe this is the turning point. Gone back to pick up a Doran's shield. He's got the Doran's blade as well. So I'm not sure yet what's happening. We'll see how that continues to play out. But for the time being, Origen marginally ahead across the laning phase, with the exception of Insec, who's being outfarmed by Olaf, which I think is a little to be expected.
Yeah, I mean, Scanner should farm nicely, but I mean, Insec's just been, as you can see here, looking for opportunities to get into lanes right now. And actually, honestly, Stefan has not had the opportunity to impact the lanes, I think, in the way that he would have wanted. Top lane has been shoved in. That's difficult for him to gank a Scion who has been shoved in. And as it stands, Froggen has positioned himself in a way that's made it very difficult, pre-6, for him and Milica to combo. Although you can see now he's setting up for that level 6 Malzahar combo with the Olaf. You can see Stefan is hovering around that red position, maybe going to move down towards Froggen again when Froggen comes back to lane.
So I'm going to go back to the question I asked 7 minutes ago. KLT on the verge of a 3-game losing streak after going 27-0. So it wasn't a flash-in-the-pan win streak. That was a pretty legit win streak from Kliktech. But 3 games in a row, they haven't found an opportunity. The man on your screen now, Stefan, this is who you wanted to see make it happen. He has a Renekton, for goodness sake. But they've got to get through the unstoppable onslaught and the flash. Slice and dice, not going to be able to body block despite Sakura's best attempts. There's still a flash to deal with, and Stefan's nowhere near.
The more and more it goes on like this, the more and more worried I am for Kliktech in terms of the way that they actually win this game. You come to a teamfight situation, you're going to get slaughtered by Origen as this game progresses. I feel like you need to run with this into the mid-game and start to snowball, otherwise the win conditions that you had are kind of going very, very far out the window. I do like this from Stefan right now, though.
It's a visualization where the window of opportunity closes at a very slow rate. And if you steal blue buffs, get kills, tower dive, that window remains open for as long as you have a lead. Because, of course, Origen's team fighting and scaling arguably better. They synergize a little bit more. But as it stands, Milica pushing in the mid lane. Stefan's got some good deep vision with that pink ward by the blue buff, and he's stealing camps away. 47 to 35, it is a sizable advantage for the jungle.
And I think this is something that I really, really like from Stefan. He hasn't found much love in the lanes right now, so he's using that one matchup that can work in his favor, trying to go in onto Skarner's jungle, trying to put Insec under pressure now, knowing that maybe if he can get an advantage in terms of pure CS, a little bit of a gold advantage, when they hit those first item spikes, they can maybe force a fight around Dragon, they can maybe force a fight around the Rift Herald, and those will be those small situations. Because remember, whilst we talk so much about the laning phase, they have got, ooh!
Yeah, take a look in the bottom lane. They've actually swapped top. Forgiven and Jez's with the help of Origen, anticipating Stefan's pressure top. Got to get through that passive. Nethergrass comes out, a lot of damage onto Insec. He's running very low. Impale comes up, but first blood picked up by Stefan, the man that needed to do it. While he's Ragnaroking forward, he can't get Rune Prison down. And time's out for a moment. Overload into Overload. Defensive flash from Froggen, getting good damage. Spell Flux into Overload, continues to chase. Here comes Eddie. He manages to get the knockup with a headbutt pulverize. And Kliktech find the early game they need, but it is at the cost of Tower First Blood.
Wait, that looked so good for Kliktech. I love the way that Stefan responded. Insec definitely felt like there was some of those communication issues creeping in there. He went way, way too far into the enemy jungle without vision, but they traded the first Tower Blood for it. Now, it looks like Kliktech should be able to respond and maybe pick up a turret of their own. So overall, you would say that Kliktech have a minor advantage coming out of that. And that is the small types of engages that Kliktech needed in the early game to start to snowball this. Remember, now they can look to force something around the Dragon. Now they can look to force something around the Rift Herald. Smaller skirmishes are going to favor the Kliktech team at this point in the game. And if you continuously take small objectives because the enemy team are afraid to fight you at this point, that's how you net yourself a global advantage that you can snowball.
I really like that point about the smaller skirmishes, because as we crest 10 minutes, it is a lead for Kliktech. And you could argue that in the 2v2s and 3v3s, for maybe even a longer period of time.
Oh, absolutely.
The tools in the combinations, Renekton Olaf, Olaf Malzahar, Malzahar Varus Alistair, you do not want to be fighting any of those combinations in the smaller groups.
Well, if you think about it, their single target focus in the smaller group situations is much better. You have the Malzahar ultimate, you've got the Renekton stun, and remember, you also have the Varus ultimate. Varus ultimate naturally splits a team fight up because you don't want to give that virus to the rest of your team. And then so they all split up, and you end up splitting up a team fight, meaning that single target focus is better. Even when you get to a 5-man mid-game fight, if you Varus ultimate a target and they separate from that target, that's when you go in with the Malzahar, and that's when you go in with the Renekton. However, the smaller skirmishes are much easier to pull off for Kliktech, and that's what I want to see them start to do. You've got the Rift Herald up, you've got that Dragon up, Olaf is posturing around that Dragon right now. This is a good response from Kliktech, and they can look to try and snowball this now.
It really is. In Kliktech, they've got themselves an even footing as far as the CS is concerned. It's small advantage for Forgiven, small advantage for Milica over Froggen. The items are starting to come in. Look, first item completed for Froggen is in fact the QSS.
Yeah.
He's got the Agent of the Catalyst, and he's got the tier stacking, but no real big pickups. But then to be fair, really nobody has just yet either. Chain of Corruption will connect onto Jesus. He's got Flash and Exhaust available to him. Here comes Stefan, but Insec was in space. Jesus manages to survive for now. Forgiven with On the Hunt is throwing out Ricochet after Ricochet. Milica coming in from the north. Flash is not available to him, but the Nether Grasp is. He locks down Insec. In goes Edinburgh. He manages to get a knockup. The Devour from Jesus buys a few more seconds for Insec. Gets spat out and running away. The Impale is timing out. There's a defensive flash from Forgiven. Where is Origen? Not going to be there in time. I take it back. Here comes Expect. Comes in from behind. He's taking a lot of damage. This is so messy, but it's Froggen and Origen that are winning. Sakura takes down Forgiven in the back end of the fight as Insect's running for his life. Froggen throws out a Rune Prison, waiting for the cooldown. Connects with another. Manages to find the Overload and runs for his life. Now Expect in zombie mode goes down. I don't even know who won the fight.
I think we all lost. No, but that was insane. I mean, that was a downtown Scion if I have ever seen one in my life. What an and something that we always praise Expect for is his ability to respond on the map with his teleports. Look, he absolutely inted his first game as Cho'Gath. However, the way that he responded with teleports was one of the major positive takeaways that we had from that game. And the way that he did it here, let's take a look at it in greater detail. Obviously, as a Sivir, you do not want to be team fighting at this stage in the game. You do not have enough items. Your ricochets don't do enough damage. And they definitely can't defend this turret. So I think they realized this as soon as Milica comes in. They realize there's no way they defend this turret. They just try to back off and create space. But watch the Scion on the very back of this fight pop off and somehow turn things around, because they don't focus the turret. It gives them a little bit more space and they overextend. And he hits a brilliant ultimate, which allows lots of CC to go down. Positionally, it gives Froggen the opportunity to get onto the back line and deal with the Varus. Mid-game Renekton does mid-game Renekton things in the backline there, but actually overall, that wasn't the worst trade in the world for Origen. That could have gone a lot worse for them.
So I think it ended up being a 2 for 3 in favor of KLT, getting the 3 kills. With that tower falling as we come out of the replay, it also is a 1-for-1 tower trade. It puts us in a position where KLT, they have the momentum and they're able to take down a following tower now in the top lane. This will make it 2-2. By the way, look at the minimap. Forgiven and Jez's, they have continued the pressure, and there's no real defense yet from Kliktech. So going into 15 minutes, Scoundrel, while all that's going on, Insec also takes the dragon. This feels like a chaotic game with cross maps on multiple sides. But Origen, they group up, and now they're sieging the mid tower. But at what cost? On the Hunt is thrown down as the Nethergrasp locks up Expect. A very, very good Devour. That's going to interrupt the Nethergrasp. That means that Expect can escape with his life, and KLT are now grouping up in the mid lane. We are starting this Origen game as it ended in the previous one, with chaos and madness in the 5v5s.
And Jessis, I don't think we give him enough praise as a support player. Obviously, devouring people is not the highly most mechanical skill thing in the world, but his ability to be in the right position at the right time and always be there is something that we don't give Jessis enough praise for.
I agree, and I think if you think back to the very first time that Origen lane swapped, it was with Forgiven and Jez's literally moments before Stefan was going for a tower dive. We were discussing this off air, how Jez's is naturally one of those players that you often don't talk about. He's often on a team with significantly larger superstars, with bigger, flashier plays, longer histories. But he's quietly been one of the most reliable players over a prolonged period of time. He's on loan to Origen from Fnatic as their substitute, and now he's the recipient of a chain of corruption. I don't quite think he'll escape from this one after all his praises. This is the definition of caster curse, and he gets taken down by the Undertow.
We were just praising Jessis and he gets
I blame you.
I blame myself as well. I blame myself. It is funny though, if you look at the Origen roster, he probably was, in inverted commas, the least hyped member of the announced roster. And it obviously can be difficult when you're on a roster like this, when everybody else takes that spotlight. But Jessis does deserve a bit of love from time to time.
Completely agree. Unfortunately, we give him love and he dies, so we'll dial that one back.
I want to just highlight right now Milica. And now he is now 2-0-3. He's one of the standout performers from Kliktech. When he plays well, the entire Kliktech roster plays well. And actually, if you look at where the positions are in terms of their item builds, you're almost sitting on what I assume will be a Titanic Hydra coming out for Sakri.
Yeah.
You're hitting these 2 item spikes on these mid-game carries. And actually, Kliktech are doing or playing well to their win condition of trying to just force these mid-game engages and make use of these smaller skirmishes as well.
Doing exactly what they needed to, because not only is Milica 2-0-3, but Stefan was 2-0-3. Sakura's got a gigantic CS advantage in the top lane. That's why he's shoving in the bottom right now. He's playing that split push. While Forgiven, Jez's, Insec are doing their best to defend this tower. With the help of the Rift Herald, the outer and now inner are falling, but a very nice Impale will get damage down into Sakura. Here comes Froggen from the side lane. He gets the Rune Prison out as Jez's once again. He absorbs so much pressure. I'm looking for Expect. The unstoppable onslaught is available to him, and the Realm Warp is delivering the damage to Milica. He's going to ghost and flash to safety. All of Kliktech escape. They get 2 towers, making their total 4, and they maintain a gold lead of 3,000 at 17 minutes. That is significant.
It's a massive win for them to come away with 2 towers from that push and absolutely nothing for Origen to show in response. Remember, Origen want to stall this game out. They want to get to a point where Sivir is 3 items plus. They want to get Froggen to a later game Rise build. They do not win any mid-game skirmishes or any mid-game team fights unless someone from Kliktech gets caught out. So they want to avoid fighting. Kliktech have set themselves up into a position when Baron rolls around in 2 minutes, they can get vision dominance of the area, they can then bring Origen to them, and they can force these team fights in a situation where their team is strongest. This is a first Baron win game for Kliktech. If they don't win off that first Baron, or that Baron gets stalled for another 8 to 10 minutes, that is where you're going to start to look towards the Origen composition and say, okay.
And do you know why the light bulb has just turned on? Bear with me for a moment or two, ex-scoundrel. This team composition, early to mid-game focus, win with 1 Baron, or you don't win at all. Remember the scenario we find ourselves in. If Kliktech want to top the group and force a 3-way tie at 1 win and 1 loss, they need to beat Origen in faster than 37 minutes and 38 seconds. If they do that, Kliktech will take first, XL will take second, and Origen will take third.
Yeah, this is the group of life, remember. So everybody goes through from this group. It just depends on what position that you get from.
Yes, so, and of course in that 3-way tie, it's determined by win times. And with Origen having a 48-minute win time, there's very clear tiers where you want to beat.
So if you, exactly as you said, if you win this game in sub 30 minutes, which this composition around that first Baron might do, then you as Kliktech, through that win, get first seed and skip that first round.
I officially remove my question mark about the word "are Kliktech exposed?" I would like to leave the statement there, but we will explore it as the game plays out, because in second Froggen, they're going to force the flash from Sakura. That is a flash impale into the Rune Prison. But what was the cost? All right, flash for flash and the Dominus. Baron is coming up in 15 seconds and teleport is available, but that's all.
You could see Froggen facepalm right there, because that was a flash ult into a minion wave, and Froggen was like, I can't land any overloads right now. It's just like, that's a Renekton in the middle of an entire minion wave.
And that means Renekton survives, does not get turned into a new pair of boots, and Kliktech, knowing that there's no support because he's being engaged again. Sakura with no flash, no ultimate, gets stunned by those crystal slashes. Froggen runs out of mana, but it doesn't matter because they got the man. Now Origen defending in the top lane. Look at that Nether Grasp is not used yet. I'm waiting for the target. Jesus will need to devour somebody and does. Expect gets away and survives for now. The Malefic Visions are not going to spread, but the Inhibitor Tower is going low. 20 minutes. Baron is alive. Expect is coming in from behind. He's teleporting into the river, but how much support is there? Forgiven's already used his ultimate. The Abyssal Voyage can deliver at least 1 member to the back line, and the Realm Warp is not available. Rune Prison goes out as the Boomerang Blade rattles across Kliktech. Stefan is getting chunked in these tight corridors. The Ricochet's going to do work, but Origen are retreating. They're routed. They're running for their lives. Jesus will not be saved, and Kliktech all of a sudden have a 5v4, and they might take Baron.
They're going straight for Baron right now, quick shot. That was a massive overextend from Origen without the ultimate from Sivir that really limits their team fighting capabilities as well. And Nikolai with the flash over-expect, meaning he wasn't caught in that small corridor.
Kliktech secure Baron number 1. And one advantage for Origen is they have Sivir, which can help, can alleviate some of that pressure. But Ryze is going to have such a difficult time dealing with waves. So we'll expect Sion. Kliktech, if they beat 37-38, they will top Group C, take the number 1 seed. And ladies and gentlemen, they will knock Origen to 3rd seed from the group stage.
Goodness me, right now, and they need a lot of time, Origen. They need more time to get Sivir up to a position where it's at least another item for Forgiven before he can start to team fight effectively. Look at this collapse coming out from Kliktech onto Froggen.
All right, the undertow was pulled ever so slightly short. Stefan's got no flash, no Ragnarok, and Froggen's able to escape. I actually see Ghost is on cooldown.
He used Ghost, yeah.
So manages to escape with the use of the Summoner spell.
The best case scenario right now for Kliktech is they group up, they use that tower dive potential with the Malzahar ultimate, with a very beefy Renekton right now, super mid-game focused Renekton build as well.
Yes.
And they just force the issue before Origen have time to breathe.
Now, of course, this is exactly what Kliktech wanted to do with their composition. They were able to punish the Origen engage that happened just moments ago. Secure the Baron. Baron-empowered minions with the help of the entire team now pushing onto the inhibitor turret. Remember, the top one is down 30%, and Expect has got the ultimate if he wants to throw down the unstoppable onslaught. Origen are on the verge of going 0-2 against Kliktech. Representatives from the Balkans. Of course, it is a Croatian organization, which is why the flag is up there. And they've got to defend. Right, Rune Prison catches down Eden Pritel. And the rest of the team comes in. Dominus has been used by Sakura. Look for the Nethergrass. Spell Shield bomb from Forgiven keeps him alive as Insect was the target. Insect escapes with his life as there's not enough follow-up damage. The base is opened up, but the inhibitor takes no damage, and Kliktech back away.
It was a good move from Kliktech. It's what we just said they needed to do to force these objectives. They have that ability to shove out from these tower dives. They have that ability to get single target picks very quickly at this stage in the game. But I want to give credit to Froggen where credit is due. He lands a couple of combos on those frontline members before they get there. It makes it very difficult for them to be healthy enough to pull off the complete tower dive.
And it is insane when you look at the itemization. Archangel Staff completed for both Froggen and Milica. Leandri's on the side of Milica. But there's a QSS to a blasting one, so it's 2 and a bit items. Technically, Froggen, 247 CS, got 2 assists. Gonna go once again onto Sakura. No ultimate, no flash, this should be an easy kill. Feel my sting, Insect yells. And Sakura's gonna slice and dice at least once. And we'll get run down eventually. I'll do my best. Inspired by one of my favorite MK franchises. Nevertheless, they get another kill. 40 seconds, that's huge. That is a mistake Kliktech cannot afford when they have Baron buff, when they're trying to siege, when they're trying to take advantage of that window. This is what closes that window ever so slightly.
Well, obviously, when you have Baron buff, you want to exploit every single lane using Baron buff across all of your minion waves. And Renekton, at this point in the game, is one of the best split pushers just because of the ability to 1v1 duel, as Milica just gets away, but the skin of his teeth has to flash to get away as well.
Yeah, that flash could prove pivotal. That flash could be huge. I mean, please don't misunderstand. It is a 7,000 gold lead. Origen need a lot of time before they claw that back.
I mean, I think we need to be completely honest here. Kliktech have dominated the early game, and they have played to their win conditions of having mid-game skirmishes. They did not get as much efficacy or effect out of that first Baron I think that they wanted. But they are still in this phase of the game where they can win off another push, another Baron, or another big skirmish.
I feel like the gold lead they've accrued has bought them enough time for one more Baron.
Yeah.
But one of the things you have to remember is when you get into these 5v5 scenarios at a choke point like an inhibitor, the team fight synergy that Origen's composition will bring together does add value. It's unseen value, it's not combat value, of course, but there is combos that will naturally synergize and make their 5v5 stronger to at least claw back some of that difference.
But I think if we go 10 more minutes, I'm in the Origen camp in terms of win conditions, in terms of being able to play these 5v5 team fights out. Right now, I'm still sitting in the camp of Kliktech. I still think Kliktech have 3-item spike on Varus. This is really strong for him. And when we talk about Varus, he's not an early game carry. He can scale into the late game. And they still have a 2-item Renekton. They still have a 3-item Malzahar. This is a great place for Kliktech to be right now.
It is. And of course, coming from a Brit sitting on both sides of the fence, no surprises there. Origen once again defending their base
all right, mate.
from Kliktech siege as the inhibitor has yet to be killed. I'm waiting for the engage. That's one slice, holding on to the dice. Root goes down into Saka, but look at the damage in the back end. Impale! They get Nicola! He's down! 5v4 as Origen have found the team fight at the cost of Insect's life. Defensive flashes as Kliktech are running for their lives. Froggen and Forgiven are untouched, and they say, Kliktech, you better FF! Eden goes down. Milica's gonna follow thereafter, but look at Sakura and Stefan running for their lives. It doesn't matter, as finally they will get routed and destroyed. A double kill for Forgiven, and Origen are not giving up.
Oh, quick shot. It feels like Nikolai overextended like crazy. His positioning in that fight was just not what we are used to seeing from him. And you can see he has rectified and built himself a QSS off the back of that, realizing that if he goes down, a lot of their teamfight potential is just down the drain as well. Credit to Insect, where Insect is due. He has received a large portion of bashing from us over the course of this week. However, that was an incredibly good engage. It was very instinctual to jump into that AD carry, and he isolated and found that opportunity to take Nikolai right into the very sort of brunt of that Origen composition.
And every time we see Origen team fighting in the late game, I think the experience of the players, language barrier excluded, it just shines through. You see these guys stepping up. They really know how to focus the right targets, and that goal difference means so much less. They've defended their inhibitors. We're getting into the late game.
I mean, look, whatever language you speak, when you ult an AD carry with a Skarner, I think everybody knows what to do. So
that's a pretty universal language.
That's a pretty universal language. Hey guys, I've just isolated the AD carry. Let's kill him. I could probably scream that in whatever language, and everybody would know what's going on.
I concur. And of course, talking about itemization now, that gold lead becomes less significant, as you hear us say all the time. I like the fact that Forgiven has gone for a third item, Essence Reaver. It's something that Freak talks a lot about. He's extremely passionate about getting the rapid fire on the Q, get that cooldown lower, get more of those autos out. If it was a Tristana, it's not a Tristana. Ignore everything I just said. Oh, damn it. It was such a good point if it was Tristana.
Yeah, it's actually a Sivir.
Anyways, the Sivir is in the game right now.
Essence Reaver's a bit of a core
There
item.
we go. It makes perfect sense on the same token. Let's see what Stefan can do. He's trying to run down Froggen. This is a fight that's now split to multiple fronts. Insec is the victim. This is a 4v5, it looks like. Where is Expect? I can't even see him. Eden is now taking a lot of damage and running for his life. Expect and Sakura, they're fighting in the bottom line. That's why I couldn't see him. Forgiven on Sivir is untouched. It ends up being a 1-for-0. Kliktech get the kill, and they show their comp is still fully capable of winning.
I need to give Eden massive props in that fight. He zoned out Forgiven, and because of that stun that comes from the Alistair, Forgiven couldn't move past to join his team. Insec got locked down and isolated by Militia, and they actually managed to pick him off. That wasn't really to do with Insec's positioning, more to do with the excellent play coming out from Eden to zone out Forgiven and Jessis in that situation.
And I love the fact that Kliktech are still willing to pull the trigger. 30 minutes in, after losing that gigantic team fight, Stefan ran in with absolutely everything. It looks like the blast cone was used to hop over the wall. This Baron should be dead before Origen can arrive. You see on the minimap, they're going to get there way too late. Is there enough time to pick up some kills? The answer is no. Baron number 2 goes to Kliktech. This could be the last Baron they get.
I feel like this is Kliktech's window of opportunity to seal the deal and beat Origen for the second time. This is their redemption game, remember. Given that they went 27-2 or 28-2, I believe it was 27-2 given that where it is, but this is their redemption game. People have been asking questions about whether they are exposed to a good team of XL Esports. This is them showing that they can step up again and take on arguably one of the strongest teams in the composition, the team.
In the tournament, and of course,
the word I was looking for.
Seeding is what's on the line. All right, 30 minutes, 33 seconds on the clock right now. The magic number, if Kliktech want first seed in the group, is to win in 37 minutes and 37-37. That's what they're gonna look for. If they land in that number or earlier, they take first. XL takes second, and Origen will take third. If it's between 37 minutes and 48, then XL, representing the UK with that organization,
I like your little smirk when you say
take
that.
first.
UK Esports
I
boys.
did not expect to say that sentence this event, I'm not gonna lie. That's where the smirk came from, scoundrel.
Yeah, I don't think I did either, and I'm from the UK.
And of course, on the flip side, right, if Origen are able to turn this around, win in the late game, and Kliktech take third, XL second, and Origen first. That is the stakes. That is what these guys are playing for in the group of life.
But this is this time period now. They have that Baron buff. They're working towards not the open inhibitor. They're happy to let Sakura do that by himself, but they know that they've got that potential with the Banner of Command minion in this mid lane to push through and go for a tower dive.
All right, Spell Shield has already been used by Forgiven as well as on the Hunt. Everybody's peeling away. The tower has gone down and Sakura's completed the teleport. So has Expect joined the team. He's managed to find his way in from the sideline here. Taking a look at the rest of the squad. The inhibitor's taken a lot of damage from that Banner Baron empowered minion. The last time Kliktech sieged in the bottom tower, it was in fact Nicola that got caught out by a great engage from Insec, and that cannot happen again.
He's got the QSS now, though. That shouldn't happen the same way it did. They're going to continue to push in with this Baron wave.
All right, Forgiven's trying to wave play as best he can. Look at the big burst of damage he takes from Nicola. Insec's looking for a target on the side, not many available to him. A dash forward from Sakura. The devour from Jesus keeps Forgiven alive. Manages to take down Sakura. KLT have botched it. They've not found the fight, but they're not done yet. Insec's running for his life. life without the front line, KLT may still get the objective, and that is worthwhile. Forgiven on the Sivir, not going to be able to follow up more, and losing one for supers is definitely a good call.
They don't quite feel confident enough to just run that Sivir in right now, but they're going to continue to push. Froggen is going to zone them away from this red buff.
Now, if there is one thing, by the way, important to note for Origen, because it's the middle inhibitor, they can defend that more easily. Melitza, his passive gets popped by a Q and locked down. It was at the cost of Froggen's flash and expects ultimate. Will that come back to hurt the guys? Maybe, maybe not, as they're on defensive duty still.
You could see Forgiven in that last teamfight scenario was so reluctant to move up to even basic attack because he knew how easy it would be for KLT to dive in onto him. He needed to find the right opportunity to start to unleash those ricochets. Didn't quite find it in that situation. They did peel back from that Sakura dive onto him. But now that he's finished up those 4 items, maybe he's working towards a Bloodthirster now as well. This might be more acceptable for him to go for those now.
Oh, but it's still a big gold lead. The Baron has worn off. I mean, Nicola, Mercurial Scimitar, Rageblade, Hurricane, Wit's End. Now his build will start to soften, maybe? Might be the right word. It's still going to do great in extended fights if he can get enough autos down. Looking at the mini-map there, Scoundrel, KLT, they want to contest the Dragon, but they're simply too late to the party, and Melitza's not there. On the hunt, thrown down. Origen are split. Look, Insect goes left. Forgiven goes right. We're going to be saying that story a lot as playoffs start tomorrow. Sakura's going to be the target. He has dived in. He's got no QSS. He's impaled, and he's down. Forgiven is on a killing spree. Melitza has finally joined the team, but it's still a 5v4. Froggen takes some damage as he gets devoured by Jesus. The fight breaks out as Nicola takes a chunk from the Boomerang Blade. The ricochets are bouncing across the KLT members, and Nicola is in trouble. He's screaming, "Not me, Senpai!"
Oh,
QSS and runs for his life. Malefic Visions is doing some work, but Forgiven's on a rampage. He takes down Melitza. Nicola is able to escape as the Realm Warp manages to bring Froggen in. He's going to try to shut down Stefan, and he does. KLT, their eyes were bigger than their stomach, and they end up getting punished.
It's that 5v5 team fight that is creeping up for Origen now. You can see that they are taking these small advantages. They're going to have to go back and defend their base. They did ignore massive Super Wave minions pushing in, but that is the late game team fight from Origen starting to take place.
Yeah, advantageous here as KLT's minions actually take down a turret. I think it was the top inhibitor turret though. And just to go back to that point a few minutes ago, because it was the middle inhibitor, both Nexus turrets target the minion wave. Whereas if it's the top or bottom, it leans just towards one side a lot of the time. So Origen, their lifeline, they have used many of them, but they remain in. Exposed top, exposed middle. Baron has worn off, and that gold lead now means nothing at this late stage of the game, especially with a 5-item Sivir.
And at this point as well, Devours are more frequent, they're coming off cooldown more quickly, and that really shuts down that single target approach to a team fight that KLT bring to the table. Jessis has been doing some excellent work in terms of saving key members. That last fight, Froggen was caught in the Varus ultimate right in the front line, and Jessis saved his neck, put him back into the backline and allowed Froggen to recuperate and find a better position in a team fight. That is now the state of this game where unless they really just catch someone out like Insec overextending in these team fights, which has been the case before, you feel like KLT might have missed that window of opportunity to close this game out.
It definitely feels the case. We're now into the late game, 37 minutes in. 3 dragons in favor of Origen, and the first place seed is going out the window. Scoundrel, this means if Kliktech win, I doubt they'll win in the next 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Currently, XL hold pole position in the qualifying round, which is what this is. A fight is on the verge of breaking out because Baron is live. The third of the game. And Origen, look how much more confidently they are playing all the way forward because Froggen's wearing the cool kid cap and he's going to put the damage down.
He's got Rabadoodles and Melitza does not. Also, look at the full-built Sivir. We're finally there at 37 minutes into the game. This is what Sivir was built for, and Origen know it.
Oh, there we go. Eden, he takes the hit to the face. on that Scion ultimate, and the return. Devour has been used once. KLT bouncing away. Look at the ricochet damage almost exclusively. Roar of the Slayer comes out. Melitza forced a flash. He simply cannot stand toe-to-toe. Origen totally understand their win condition. They realm warp to the pit, and they're going to look for Baron.
This is exactly what Origen needed. They weathered the Kliktech storm and they found themselves in a late game teamfight scenario.
Not gonna be stolen. Stefan goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, if you invested in Kliktech stock, sell, sell, sell. Origen's on the rise.
Let's give credit to Insec. I really want to, just because I know. I really want to give credit because people flamed him for his smite onto Scion in the first game rather than the smite onto Baron. But he has been a smiting machine since that point. Every time securing objectives in even these tough situations.
Oh, man. I can't remember who said it earlier today about the script for the show. It might have been Foxtrot.
I think it was definitely
But
Foxy.
Kliktech winning, giving hope to the region, maybe looking like they were going to take down Origen 2-0. XL are in pole position. If Kliktech can close this out before 48 minutes, XL take first, Kliktech take second, Origen take third. This is the scenario we are now in.
If Origen win, though, I believe they take first.
Correct.
XL take second.
Correct.
And Kliktech take
So no
third.
matter what, first or second seed will go to XL.
Absolutely. Right now, though, I feel like it's obvious now to say, well, this is definitely Origen favored at this point in time. I think Kliktech did an absolutely stellar job all the way up until that first Baron and what they did with that first Baron. I just feel that they didn't capitalize on the very crucial, very micro moments as well, especially with not securing that bot lane inhibitor.
And Scoundrel, what feels like an eternity ago, but I asked the question about Kliktech. I'm a fan. I like this team. I like this organization, and I like what they're doing at European Masters. And I said, why are they struggling? Why are they potentially on the verge of losing 3 in a row? One of the things you mentioned was Nicola. One of the things you leaned towards, and he has been caught out in that first fight. And again, this is credit to Origen, but it is also the QSS came late, the team didn't protect him. He's one of the guys that's not doing the same damage that Forgiven is.
Don't like to speculate, but we have an engage.
We do indeed. Spell Shield comes out. Forgiven gets devoured by some time from Jezus. We need the AoE to stack for Origen to win. Forgiven stays alive. Look at those shields! How does he stay alive that long? Sakura, though, finally takes him out. Now it's up to Froggen. He's trying to turn this one back around. It's a double kill for Melitza. 3 members of Origen are dead. The base is exposed. How much can Kliktech take? 50-second death timers. Scoundrel, they might just have won the game.
I think that was just a massive throw from Origen, but realistically a brilliant pickup from Kliktech. Eden again.
Oh, it's not going to be enough. The Realm Warp has delivered minions into the back line. Are we seriously in a base race scenario?
Surely not. Surely not. This is Kliktech going straight down mid. They have Nikolai. They've got a huge cohort of people right now. I think Origen have just thrown this out the window.
Kliktech are looking at second seed. They're taking down the Nexus turret. They're taking down the second. Expectant Froggen are here to try and stop. Baron and Part minions are going to help. The Guardian Angel has been popped. Follow the Nexus HP. It's going low. Stefan's about to be killed. GA's going to come up. They have to kill Sakura quickly.
My
1,
God!
2, Origen, stay alive.
Oh my God. What are we watching right now? That felt like Kliktech had found the perfect engage at that mid lane. They're now going to run it down mid. They now have the death timers in their favor. They're looking to end this game. Quick shot. What the bloody hell is this game?
I haven't got a freaking clue. 30 seconds on the clock for the majority of Kliktech. Supers pouring down the middle lane. But look, the Abyssal Voyage has delivered Forgiven onto the inhibitor. Minions are pouring through. Only Eden is alive. Nexus turret number 1 is dropping. There is simply not enough time. From the grayscale screens, Kliktech's hopes and dreams disappear. Origen throw the game, only to catch it and take first place from Group C.
And once again, that man in the mid lane puts Origen on his back. Expected Froggen hard smurfing that game, by the way, but let's be honest,